is a busy day in Kansas City as we got a packed show for you on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. My name is Jay Sanders. As you can see, there's a lot on the docket today as we're going to talk about Marquise Brown, how the Chiefs are favored to land the Arizona wide receiver. Justyn Ross back at practice after his arrest just a couple days ago on Monday. We have a Justin Watson injury update, plus Frank Clark to Seattle. What happened there? We're going to talk about it all today, but let's start with Marquise Brown, as we got a report this morning that suggests that the Chiefs could be the favorite to land the Arizona Cardinals wide receiver. We've talked a lot about Marquise Brown, but maybe it's time that Brett Veach pulls the trigger and gets a potential wide receiver one. Before we get into the actual report, along with maybe some talking about Brown, I want to know from you, do you think the Chiefs should trade for Marquise Brown? Type T for trade or type P for pass? I know we've mentioned him a lot, but as of right now, where the Chiefs stand, do you think it's worth it to go out and get a potential wide receiver one candidate with Marquise Brown? Well, let me know in the comment section. Type T for trade, type P for pass. So this report comes from ESPN, and Dan Grazzino saying, while I trust Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes to figure it out, even if they do nothing, I do think the Chiefs still could stand and add a veteran wide receiver. Hardman coming back is nice, but the Chiefs know better than anyone that Hardman isn't the guy you can count on. I can't see the Broncos dealing one of their guys to a division rival, and the same goes for the Raiders and Devontae Adams. Well, here's the thing. There really wasn't much talk about Marquise Brown in that, right? Well, Marquise Brown, but I think the biggest thing that we got from that is he sees that the Chiefs are in line to trade for a wide receiver one. But he goes on to that, and that's where Marquise Brown comes into this topic and kind of shows that maybe the Chiefs are the favorite to land him. Dan Grazzino says this, so how about someone like Arizona's Marquise Brown, who's making $13.4 million this year and is eligible for free agency when the season is over? He continues on to say, I don't know that Arizona is looking to move Brown, but they hasn't extended him yet. And for a future-focused team looking to amass draft picks, it might make sense to see what's out there. The fifth-year speedster would bring some experience to a young Chiefs wide receiver room. The thing is, will Veach actually make the move? Notably, past trade deadlines, well, there hasn't been too much action for the Chiefs and Brett Veach. Last year was one of the years where he actually made a little bit of a splash, getting Kadarius Toney. In fact, he gave up the most draft assets he had ever given as the Chiefs GM last year. But he's been stingy throughout his tenure with Kansas City. Given the Chiefs' cap space, kind of makes it a little harder for him to make a move. But as you kind of saw in that report, he's not making a ton of money. This is a deal the Chiefs could make. And I'm not going to say that the Chiefs need him, but the stats don't lie. He looks really good. This is with Josh Dobbs as his quarterback, says too. 32 receptions, just under 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, 12 on the average. I mean, just imagine if he had Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback. On top of which, I keep comparing him to Tyreek Hill because I think he's probably the closest thing in terms of that type of player that the Chiefs could go out and get. The 40 time for Tyreek Hill, 4.29. The 40 time for Marquise Brown, 4.27. Not going to say it the same, but I like speed on the Chiefs team, and it seems like Patrick Mahomes does too. But I think the question that we need to ask everybody is it likely that Brett Veach even makes another move at all, though? Like, you kind of saw Dan Grazzino just said in there. The Chiefs probably are fine without him. But, again, do you really want to bolster up this room? Do you want to try and go for the Super Bowl? Well, why not go for a wide receiver one? I want you to let me know in the comments of today's video, from a scale of 1 to 10, what is the likelihood that Brett Veach makes another move? Just give me a quick number there. 1 being not confident, 10 being very confident that Brett Veach will make another move before the trade deadline, just under a week away. The wide receiver depth chart looks like this. You have Toney, who hasn't been performing as well. You have MVS, not performing as well. Sky Moore, not performing as well as he has. Rashee Rice, honestly, you could probably put him in the wide receiver one position. Mecole Hardman after the trade. Justyn Ross, we're going to talk about him in just a minute and kind of what's going on with him. Justyn Watson, who's been injured, looking like he could come back here soon. We don't know. He's been actually a quite pleasant surprise this year. But Rashee Rice has been the wide receiver we've looked at and thought, okay, he's the one we can basically put our chips in on him. We know he's going to perform. We know he is going to do well. I talked about Ross. I talked about Watson. They're both coming up here on the Chiefs Report as Ross back at practice, along with a very, very positive Justyn Watson injury update. But I'll tell you what, we also have a very positive report from Prize Picks. As I'm telling you, if you haven't started playing daily fantasy sports, now's the time, and you can do it super easily with Prize Picks. Now, Prize Picks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and it's the easiest way to play DFS. Players can choose from a vast selection of sports and stat types not offered anywhere else, and you can even pick in-game projections after a game has already started, which include halves, quarters, periods, and more. Go check it out at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Thursday Night Football being tomorrow. I'm going to show you my entries that I'm going with for tomorrow evening's game. I'm a more guy. I'm always going more. I just think that's more fun. If you're looking for somebody to not go, I think that takes a little bit of excitement out of more. You're always saying, I want this to happen. You're always rooting for some offense. I think that's the way to do it. Baker Mayfield, I'm going more on his passing yards, 230. I think he can get there. I think he's a 240 guy. Rashad White, I'm going more. I think he can get up to 50. The Bills' defense hasn't been as advertised. And then Stephon Diggs, he's a lock to score a touchdown pretty much every single game with Josh Allen as his quarterback. And Tampa Bay has not been a great defense, not been a great team. I think Stephon will score a touchdown, especially after not getting one this past week. Again, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports. Shout out to Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. Okay, let's kind of go back into the Chiefs here with Justyn Ross and Justyn Watson. So the first of the Justyns we're going to talk about is Ross. We have this report from Adam Teacher coming out here earlier today saying that Justyn Ross will practice with the Chiefs today despite his arrest on Monday. Good news there. Good news there. Talking with Andy Reid, it sounded like off-the-field issues we don't want to worry about. If he's here, he's going to practice. Ross was there. He's going to practice. We've also heard some kind of reports from outside sources that he hasn't been as great about showing up to practice. There's been some football issues on top of it, but let's kind of go through, if you missed, what exactly happened here. So on Monday evening, we got the report that Justyn Ross was arrested in Monday afternoon in Shawnee, Kansas. Now, yesterday, he appeared in court. He pleaded not guilty to the criminal charge. Now, he was released on bail yesterday. He will have another court appearance on December 4th. Right now, there's not too much besides that we have. It seems like there may be some domestic issues in there. We don't want to try and speculate, but he's back at practice today, and I think we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with this situation. Again, Andy Reid's the coach that, listen, I'm not going to worry about what's happening off the field. That's with the player. That's his outside life. When he's here, he's my basically employee, and he's going to go work for me by practicing. That's exactly what Andy Reid is kind of going with. I like that Ross is out there, but again, there's a lot of ins and outs of this. You have Richie James still on IR. What's to say you don't bring Richie back? You cut Justyn Ross. It's a tough time for the kid. Obviously a mistake I'm sure he regrets, but right now we can't really do anything but speculate, and with this type of thing, we're not going to speculate too much. We do have positive news with the other Justyn Watson, as well today he was back at practice via Adam Teacher. He tweeted this out similarly to that Justyn Ross report, saying that Justyn Watson will also practice today after missing last week's game with an elbow injury. That elbow injury being the dislocated elbow he suffered in the fourth quarter of the Broncos game. Now back on the field, and it's nice to have because in average-wise, he has been the Chiefs' leading receiver this season, averaging 21.9 yards per catch. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised to say this, but it seems as though he's been the most trusted wide receiver with Patrick Mahomes, which is funny for the simple fact that we kind of talked about cutting him before the season. Now with him practicing in full pads today, well, he may be able to play this Sunday. I like to have those stats back on the field, so that's very positive news there with Justyn Watson. I think there was a report saying that he was full pads, full practice, and that Andy Reid expects him to play on Sunday. So even better news there, but that's the hope. You get a receiver back. Man, this Chiefs team is starting to figure out its stuff at the right time. As you got the Broncos this week, then, well, you got one of your bigger tests with the Dolphins in Germany. I will say this. I want him to play Sunday, and I know you do too. So let's help him play Sunday. Let's send some healing to him. I want you to type 84. Let's get 184s in the comments today. If you're watching the video, just go down there, type 84 real quick. It takes 2 seconds. There's probably going to be a YouTube ad break. Just go down there, type 84, come back. It'll probably be over. Get in there. We need 184s to make sure Justyn Watson will play at full capacity this Sunday. Very good sign to see here from Justyn Watson, as mentioned. It's kind of insane that he's going to play this quickly, or at least expected to, for, I think, the reasoning that dislocated elbow was really the initial report. There was speculation that there was some maybe collateral damage with the muscle area. He went to go get an MRI. It came back clean. The initial report was that he was going to miss a potential of 4 to 5 weeks. He's only going to miss one game if he comes back this Sunday. So that's great to see from Justyn Watson, a guy who has been really a trusted target for Patrick Mahomes. Now, in other news, we do have Frank Clark update, and it's not the one you'd expect. Apparently, he's going to Seattle. In fact, we have this report from Ian Rappaport saying that free agent Frank Clark is, in fact, signing with the Seahawks after he passes his physical today. He'll sign to the 53-man roster and give a boost to their pass rush. What in the world happened? I'm so confused because last week, he literally, not even a week ago, was saying, yeah, I'm going to be in the Chiefs. I'm going to go do this physical. I'm going to sign. We're going to be good. And then it just went silent. I don't really know what exactly happened. We had reports literally a week ago saying that he was going to be with the Chiefs. He was going through his physical. The only thing I can think is maybe his contract must not have worked. Maybe that, because it sounds like he's already passed his physical with the Seahawks, so that can't exactly be the reasoning. Well, maybe it was the contract. Maybe the Chiefs just couldn't work it out. I haven't seen the details with the Seahawks just yet, but maybe it's something the Chiefs just ultimately couldn't match and what Frank Clark wanted, what he probably deserves. So that's unfortunate, but I don't think he was the end-all, be-all for the Chiefs. But, hey, it's a business at the end of the day, and unfortunately, he signed with a different employer. Well, I appreciate it if you made it to the end of the video. Make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all of the Kansas City Chiefs news. We're going to have the latest as we come up here on the 2023 deadline. We appreciate you watching, and as always, peace out.